everyone, and welcome back to Julian Speaks. If you're new here, this podcast is a voice podcast as well, and it's a safe space where we talk honesty about emotional healing, family, struggles, self-worth, relationships, burnt outs, and difficult emotions people often carry silently. Today's topic is painful, but very real for many people. Feeling like your family only notice you when you're useful. When people reach out mostly because they need money, need support, need emotional labor, need help, need solutions, or need something from you. And honestly, over time, that kind of relationship dynamic can become emotionally exhausting because eventually you begin questioning, would they still value me if I stop giving? Do people love me, or do they love me when I provide? Who am I outside of being useful to everyone else? And this question can quietly damage self-worth deeply. Today, what we're going to talk about is the emotional appreciation, the emotional exhaustion, the overgiving of feeling invisible in family expectations, and learning how to recognize your worth beyond what you can do for others. So wherever you are listening from today, thank you so much for being here, and let's talk. Segment 1. When love starts feeling transactional. I think one of the saddest feelings is slowly realizing that your presence seems most appreciated when you are helping, when you are solving problems, when you're giving money, when you're offering emotional support, when you're fixing situations, or sacrificing yourself for everyone else. And honestly, at first, many people don't notice this dynamic immediately because helping the people you love feels natural. You want to support them, protect them, slowly for them, showing up for them. But over time, the imbalance becomes emotionally unnoticeable. You begin recognizing painful patterns. People only contact you when they need something. Your exhaustion gets ignored. Your struggles become ordinary or secondary. And eventually you start feeling like less a person, or like a resource. And that feeling hurts deeply, especially with family relationships where love is supposed to feel safe and unconditional. Segment 2. The emotional cost of always giving. I think many people who overgive emotionally slowly lose connection with themselves. Because when your life becomes centered around constantly helping others, your own needs quietly disappear into the background. You become so focused on supporting everyone, carrying responsibilities, and keeping people okay. And then you stop asking, what about me? And honestly, emotionally giving people often minimize their own pain. So they tell themselves other people need me more. I'll deal with myself later, or I just need to keep going. But emotional neglect affects people deeply over time, especially when appreciation feels temporary or conditional, because eventually exhaustion turns into sadness, and sadness sometimes turns into resentment. Not because you regret helping, but because you realize nobody fully noticed the emotional cost it had on you. Segment 3. Feeling invisible outside of what you provide. One of the deepest emotional wounds in this dynamic is invisibility. Feeling unseen outside of your usefulness. You begin to wonder, like, if I stop helping, would anyone still check on me? Like, if I had nothing to left to give, would I still matter? And to be honest, those thoughts can quietly destroy your self-worth, especially when your identity becomes heavily connected to responsibility, to sacrifice, to emotional labor. And some people become so used of being the reliable one that they no longer know how to exist outside the constant giving. And I think many family breadwinners silently struggle with this. Because when people become dependent on your support, your humanity sometimes gets overlooked. People forget that you get tired too. You need comfort too. You need to support. You need understanding as well. But many emotional responsibilities, like the people who are emotionally responsible, suffer quietly because everyone assumes, like, you're strong, you'll be okay. Segment 4. The guilt of wanting distance. Now let's talk about something many people feel ashamed of admitting. Sometimes constantly being needed to make people want emotional distance. And honestly, that does not make you selfish. It makes you exhausted. Because when people continuously depend on you without emotional balance, your nervous system eventually becomes overwhelmed. And you're gonna start craving, like, the silence, the rest, the space, the peace, and emotional freedom. But guilt immediately appears, of course, especially in family dynamics where sacrifice is expected. Like, you begin feeling like, I shouldn't feel this way. They're family. I should be grateful. I should be helping. And honestly, many people continue emotionally draining themselves because the guilt convinces them boundaries equal betrayal. But boundaries is not abandonment. Needing rest is not cruelty. And wanting to exist outside constant responsibility does not make you a bad person. Segment 5. When your value becomes attached to service. I think one of the most dangerous things emotionally is when people begin believing their value depends entirely on what they can do for others. Because then rest feels undeserved, or saying no feels wrong, or self-care needs selfish, And honestly, many overgivers secretly fear this. Like, if I stop being useful, maybe the people will stop needing me. And that fear keeps many people trapped inside unhealthy dynamics for years. Especially people who learned early in life that love was connected to sacrifice, to responsibility, to caregiving, or emotional labor. But your worth should never be dependent entirely on how much you suffer for others. You deserve a relationship where your humanity matters too, not only your usefulness. Segment 6. People get used to sacrifice. Another painful truth is this: people often adapt very quickly to your sacrifice. What once felt generous slowly becomes expected. And honestly, that expectation creates emotional pressure. Because once people become used to your support, changing the dynamic can feel uncomfortable for everyone's involved. Especially when you finally begin settling boundaries. Suddenly, people may call you selfish, distant, changed, unavailable, or difficult. And not because you became cruel, but because your access to your energy change. And honestly, that can feel heartbreaking, especially when you spent years showing love through sacrifice. But emotional maturity sometimes means recognizing constant self-abandonment is not suitable love or not sustainable love. Segment 7, learning to see yourself as a person. People, I think healing begins when overgivers slowly reconnect with themselves outside responsibility, outside the usefulness, outside the sacrifice. And you begin asking, what do I enjoy? What do I need emotionally? What kind of life do I actually want? And honestly, many people feel lost when they first start prioritizing themselves because they are used to surviving through service, But you deserve joy, peace, rest, emotional safety, and relationships where care feels mutual too. You deserve to be loved as a person, not just appreciated when you are solving problems. Not distinction matters deeply. Segment 8, choosing yourself without hatred. Now, I want to say something important, everyone. Protecting yourself emotionally does not require hating your family. Okay? I think many people struggle because they believe boundaries means rejection. But honestly, healthy boundaries create sustainability because constant overextending yourself eventually creates emotional collapse. And choosing yourself sometimes simply means resting, saying no, protecting your peace, or recognizing that your needs matter too, not more than everyone else's. But not less either. And one day, I hope people who spent their lives proving their worth through sacrifice would realize this. You should have to earn the love by emotionally exhausting yourself. You shouldn't. And if you're currently feeling emotionally valued mainly because of what you provide, please know this. You're more than your usefulness. You're more than your sacrifice. Your worth does not appear on the moment you stop overextending yourself for others. You deserve a relationship where your emotions matter, your exhaustion noticed, and your humanity is respected, and your presence is valued beyond what you can give. And one day, I hope you stop believing you must constantly suffer to deserve love. Everyone, thank you very much for spending time with me today on When Jillian Speaks. I'm sorry about my voice. I've been awake since 3 a.m. in the morning, so it's kind of different. I'm a bit tired, but definitely here we are giving you a little bit of conversation and talk in regards to what you might be feeling today. So if today's episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who may also be emotionally exhausted from constant carrying others right now. And if you have a deeper reflection about healing emotional burnout, self-worth, family pressure, and learning to choose yourself again, please don't forget to grab a copy of my book. It's called The Space I Never Gave Myself, and it's available on my website, which is to whenjillianspeaks.com.au. You can also get it from amazon.com. So your support truly means so much to me, and please don't forget to follow When Jillian Speaks on Spotify and all social platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and of course on YouTube for more honest conversation about healing, family, emotional growth, relationship, and personal growth. Everyone, take care of your heart, protect your peace, and I'll see you on the next episode.